morning. Welcome to AM Cafe. I am your host for this morning. My name is Mariam Owoduni. You can join us on all our social media at Osun State TV or OSBC TV or Osun State Broadcasting Corporation on Star Times 113 and Free TV 502. This morning we have Comrade Olariwaju Fadahunsin in the studio with us. He is a veteran journalist. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Glad to be here with you.
Thanks for joining us. Sir, this morning we are discussing the House of Representatives ordering NNCC to block all pornographic sites in Nigeria. Sir, this is a very interesting topic. The NNC, Nigerian Communication Commission, to block all pornography sites in Nigeria. What do you think about this?
Well, it's okay if they want it that way, and the NCC would look at the policies and contracts they have signed with those people who are doing business in communications industry. If indeed it's that convenient for them to just say, okay, we don't allow it in Nigeria anymore. Nigeria, to my knowledge and understanding, is a secular state. It is not fixated on any particular religion. And so when actions are going to be taken, I thought it would require a much longer and deeper introspection before actions like that are taken. However, things like that pass through the current assembly in very quick succession that you begin to wonder whether they put in the same gusto into other pressing issues that are of national interest for the benefit of majority of Nigerians. Those who don't even have a browsing phone cannot engage in watching pornography on their phones. And so, to my mind, a lot of serious fundamental issues that has to do even with sexuality in the state of that man, various other things in Katsina. And so moving that for the entire Nigeria, I thought they would have looked at some places where there are issues and then thought deeper about what actions were taken and what came about as results of those actions. But to my mind, yes, they are pushing it on maybe religious grounds. Nigeria is secular by constitution, and so we cannot say, oh, it's because of the Christian religion or it's because of the Islamic religion that we want to enforce it. And we tend to be holier than thou. We tend to be more religious and ungodly. A lot of those pushing such things do in their cocoon worse things than we are talking about. But when we get into the conversation proper, I think we'll get there.
How does the move align with the country's constitutional rights to freedom of expression and access to
That's
information?
exactly what I just said. That if they thought it through, it will not just be passing through. They are being sanctimonious unnecessarily. There are people who are referred to as courtesians, who are ladies that go out with men to events and they sleep together and all the rest. They are not their wives. In the dictionary definition, they call them courtesians. In a milder way of putting it, it's prostitution. It's high-level prostitution. These people we're talking about, let me take the case of Katsina, for instance. In Katsina State, it was decided, okay, I stand to be controverted on this, that we don't want hotels because it's, especially the brothels where there are prostitutes patronizing it, because it is not acceptable to the majority of religion we practice. And they stopped it in Katsina. Now, after, those young men who do petty jobs and the rest, who feel like they want to relieve and they don't have access to women of their own, started raping their girls because they could not patronize those who would take money, the little money they have, and not because if you are the wife, you are expected to take responsibility on your wife on a daily. So if he works for a week and he wants to unwind and he looks for somebody and he gives, I mean, it's two mutual people doing things. But now they started raping their own children in the community. It's a major issue in Katsina State today. Do you understand? So let's even go religious a little. In the Bible, King David himself looked at another man's wife, coveted, and he had to commit crime of killing somebody to get his wife. That's from the Bible. In the Bible, one of the children of David, Tamar, very pretty young lady, the brother coerced her that, look, I'm sick or I'm not fine, please bring meat for me in my room, and he raped her. So it's not as if he's starting now. So society should allow itself to evolve with solutions to problems. I don't think in Katsina there are a lot of hungry, unemployed youths. There are a lot of people who are into drugs. Seriously. Do they go into the internet to take drugs? Is it through pornographic sites they learn how to take drugs? People who didn't even go to school. If they had education, probably, but what have they done by way of proactive action in terms of education? So they are not looking at things that can really work. I had that discussion on a program, a live program yesterday, and some people were taking me up, and I said, look, let's not just act like Jesus, that we want to be God. Even Jesus said, whoever has not committed a crime, a prostitute, cast the first stone. Jesus was blameless. According to the Bible, he did not cast a stone. He himself was supposed to say, because me, I'm holy, I'm casting the first stone. But he said, who has not committed any of such crimes should throw the stone at the woman. And everybody walked away. So we don't have to be, we want to be God. We can't be God. We allow God to be God. God will always be God. These things we pretend, and look, I'm saying, oh, I'm highly religious and all, and we are not putting it in public space to discuss marriage of 13-year-olds. You understand? This is happening there. A lot of people in such communities, they are pretentious about it. Homosexuality is rife in those places. And so you now pretend to the gallery and you're saying the whole nation, oh, block it off. Yes, you block it off. But who does it help? To some of these people who might become miscreants and become problem in the human society, probably they let loose on those angles and whatever. They don't have access to the woman of their own. You are blocking space for. I cannot preach pornography. Why would I do that? But I don't have to be pretentious. People who do a lot of mucky, dirty things are the ones pushing this at us. They hold doggy parties for unemployed young girls. If you have seen the video of a young lady, well-schooled young lady, interviewed in Abuja, she said all she wants is to be taken away from the streets. Not because she does not want prostitution, because it solves her problems. She's sponsored as her siblings. The video, you can search it on, Google it on the internet. But this time around, drug is killing her. It's killing her and she wants impeccable English. Do you understand? Well, they are not talking about youth employment. 10, 12 sets of university graduates in the last 12, 13 years, different batches. Are
unemployed. Most of them are.
After NYSC, they don't have a job. We are not considering those ones as a national problem. Those doing prostitution in Abuja are well-educated people. Well, they leave home and say, we're going to Abuja to work. That's what they do. We don't have to pretend that we don't see it around us. And they get good money from big people. That lady, I'm telling, because Nigerians and the world should know it, the young lady, that video should go viral again, said the majority of people they patronize, she doesn't want to go to Maitama again. Maitama is a place where big men live. Members of assembly, a lot of them live there. That there is a particular one that they said is bestial when he has relationship with ladies that they can get killed. And so they prostitutes themselves, educated themselves that they should stop allowing people carry them. And these are the people that will be in that assembly laughing and smiling and saying it is normal. We must run a nation that must be sincere with itself. You don't go carrying 4 or 5 unemployed girls. You are not discussing how they can get employment. You want them to satisfy your urge and your whatever. They come, they collect the money, you have fun, you call it private fun. But now you are going before the public and the world to pretend as if it's not going on. It is that. Look at the Senate itself. The Senate did not suspend its member that went into a toy shop, sex toy shop. Not just that he went there, he beat somebody there. That was even the crux of the matter. It wasn't the fact that he went into a sex toy shop. But if they say they want to discuss, sanctity of the sexuality of humanity, and such people will contribute. Do you get? But the point is, yes, I'm not. Some families even solve their problems with that. The husband is itinerant, is always all over the place, and they say, okay, the wife will get one instead of committing adultery. Adultery is a crime in marriage. But if that is what it is between them, and they're gone. But now pretending, people might think it's not, but it's the right thing to look at it. Because when they were taking decisions to lock up hotels in Katsina, they thought they were doing the society some good. Now a lot of those young people have gone into drugs. A lot of them have become problems on the streets, raping as if it was another way of life. Was it pornography that got back into their heads? If they had pornography, they probably wouldn't go that route. But by and large, I know we will have to rediscuss this position because there will always be cause and action. They have taken a step now that they want to stop something. When the ripple effect comes, we will still come back to discuss it.
Thank you, sir. How feasible is it to block all pornography sites in Nigeria, given the country's limited technical resources and infrastructure? Is it possible?
You can tell operators, don't do this in our country. Some might tell you, we have signed an agreement with you as a nation. We can't block our lights. DSTV will always tell you, parental control. So to them, they are not serving Nigeria alone. We are serving the whole world. But you have a right to plug and say, if you don't want people to watch 1, 2, 3, 4, put a code on it, and then it's not good. Yeah. So if you tell the STV stop so and so, they might stop it in Nigeria, but they won't stop it for their worldwide customers. Ditto for every other thing in website. And it's interesting. I mean, in website level and all the rest, we can say, okay, communications, whatever. Tell your people, let them block the sites. And when they do, people will not have access anymore in Nigeria. But I tell you, our young people are so high-tech driven that the system, look, people who can hack banks, and you are now telling them you want to bring, when they block Twitter, people were still writing on Twitter. Have you forgotten? Even highly placed Nigerians that felt that was not the way to go for the government of Buhari then were writing on Twitter. It's international. Hello, if you say communications, don't do it, and I have a UK number, what rights have you to block my UK number? You can block my Nigerian number. Do you get? So if I pick my UK number, I get the website on the UK platform, and I'm on. You understand? So why was it possible to go on Twitter if indeed the nation said block? A lot of these things, you see, if you don't know the rules, you cannot close a game. Technology in the world today are so advanced that it will be too funny and pretentious of us to want to do that. Teach your child the way he should go, and he will not depart. It is the burden of that care is on the home. And building homes that are viable is on government.
That is the question.
Create employment. Bring the moral issues to the children from early stages so that they will not become problems in future. I just mentioned the story, that lady's story. I wept. This young lady said, look, wait a minute. I'm in this because I'm even sponsoring my younger ones in school. The younger ones are receiving money from at their home end. They don't know where she's getting the money from. And Nigerian government is not looking at that issue. We're now talking about, to me, it's just playing to the gallery. It's nothing positive that will come out of it. And the state itself, I think if there should be anything any honorable member from Katsina should be pushing is on insecurity. The same place we're talking about, there are parts of it where bandits take over homes. In the past, they allowed the families run away, but they became the law in those communities. Enter the home, and the bandits will become husbands to the wives of that family, boyfriend to the girls of that family, in the presence of the head of the home, and he cannot do anything. They pay taxes, and this is happening. It's in Nigeria. Let's stop pretending. These are more fundamental issues that people from that part of Nigeria should be talking about. Do you think if such issues are addressed in that part of the country, the Ondo thing will happen? It's a spillover. So why are we not talking about those spillovers? Do we know the amount of space the spillover has taken incursions into? These are the germane things as a nation we should be talking about, not these mundane pedestrian issues that the National Assembly is so quick. And I am telling you, I've always said this, that there is always an intrigue per minute from our political class. That let's give them something to start discussing. Even some stations right now, as on my way to the studio, are already discussing it. They are taking your attention away from the main issues and then bringing you to start talking about frivolities and, I don't call it idiotic on here, some things that are just not necessary. I don't see, I'm above 60. If I'm looking for much from Nigeria again, then I'll be a dreamer anyway. Because we've had the dreams, but that future is already here, it's almost gone. Sure. So, but for the younger ones, they need a future that is assured. And the nation should be working towards that. Not all of this. No.
The nation should be working towards making the youth future assured. Interesting. So when it comes to freedom of expression and censorship, does blocking pornographic sites constitute censorship? And if so, what are the implications for freedom of expression in Nigeria?
I pray very seriously. That the lawyers who take up issues like this don't even engage the National Assembly on this particular one.
They should let them be.
Just leave it and move on. Because, like Yorubas would say, go into these high-flying society things, they are the ones that carry the girls there. Because they have the money. In the whole of Nigeria, assuredly, if you want to look at people who are very comfortable, they are the people who are not spending their own money. They are the people spending government money at different levels.